Wave, and once again stopping really to try and greet and meet as many people as he possibly can.
Yes. It's what do you call, we earlier thought of the Pope was a very like one mover. It's a simple man. It's a very simple, and it was so gentle to be there in his presence.
Question? It's amazing to see. After it was played down for so long that people wouldn't be interested in coming to see, and the only people that would come were protesters. And just over the last few days to see that so many people have come out to the streets and there have been so few protesters, it just shows that there is still a great love and respect for the man who is Peter, the Pope.
Did you get at all depressed with all that discussion beforehand? And how do you feel now, after this visit, how people will feel?
So a lot of negatives around the media, but it's a more positive outlook. See around a lot of people.
I mean, you've got to carry this on. You as priests have got to lead.
That's the light he has shown us.
How do you feel about the challenge ahead?
I think it's a good challenge. I think it's a challenge that we've had to face, but he's given us the example in humility and in trying to make us understand the problems and grapple them properly and responsibly.
Let me bring in Michael Kujak, rector of the English College in Valladolid in Spain. Obviously you've come over for this moment too. How was that for you?
Absolutely wonderful, and our new year starts on Tuesday with 29 new students coming to join us, so this is really some affirmation and wonder, and for us all, we really enjoyed it.
We're watching pictures once again as the cars move very slowly through the streets in order for the Pope to greet all those people who've been waiting outside for so long to see him.
It is quite extraordinary. We were in London yesterday and there were thousands of people on the street. It was really unexpected, and it was a really warm and marvellous welcome. And it's affirmed us, I think, as a Catholic Church particularly, and certainly our students that we have who are studying for priesthood. It's been a great affirmation for them.
Let me bring in now the Archbishop of Liverpool as well, Patrick Kelly. You're all beaming. It's
absolutely
extraordinary. How was it?
Wonderful. From beginning to end, I'm very lucky. One of the lucky ones who started at Holyrood, saw the wonderful moment of the Queen's welcome, heard the marvellously warm words they spoke to each other, and it's gone on until this afternoon. This is where I lived for 18 years, so to see the Pope, I actually said to him, "You've come to my home," so it's been marvellous. For me, though, two things stood out, quite heavy ones in a way, but such delicacy. One was the interfaith gathering at Twickenham, which I think was highly significant. The Chief Rabbi spoke on that occasion and warmly greeted by the Pope. The second was Westminster Hall. The warmth of that greeting from those involved in political life was quite stunning. And I found the way the Holy Father presents his teaching with the gentleness, and he offers it as a gift, not insisting, not with any great oratory, but just as a simple offering of wisdom, and it's been wonderful days.
We've seen so many occasions where thousands of people have come out to see Pope Benedict, as you mentioned, starting in Scotland, in Edinburgh, and then in Glasgow, and then moving down to London. This was very, very personal. I have to say, I felt very privileged to be here in what feels like a very exclusive event.
It does, yes.
For you in the church.
Bishops, indeed, yes,
indeed.
yes.
I mean,
and of course, the historic reason for that is because of John Henry Newman. He gave one of his most famous sermons in the chapel just behind you, the sermon called The Second Spring. And for me, to see John Henry Newman beatified, there was a lump in my throat. And when they sang Praise to the Holy, it's my favourite hymn. It always has been. And just as the Pope said, he's blessed, I just choked on him. But what a moment. Just a great man.
And all of the 250 seminarians of England, Scotland and Wales have come here, training to be priests, as you are now.
Yes.
Will this be a moment that stays in their lives and in their hearts forever?
Absolutely certain. And above all, I think if they give themselves space to consider the Holy Father's call, which is that wonderful call to, borrowing the phrase of the great Thomas More, whom we remember in Westminster Hall, God gave us wits to serve him wittily. In other words, not just repeating what you've heard, but wrestling with it till you understand it. And I think that's the secret of Pope Benedict's great serenity. Every question he thinks through, and therefore speaks with simplicity, which is not superficial, but has great roots.
We heard in the chapel the Pope saying that he hoped those who have been ordained will be respected pretty much, didn't he?
Yes.
Because of the difficulties that we've had with the child sex abuse scandal that he referred back to again.
Again, he did.
Do you go back to your ministries now with stronger hearts, do you think?
I'm sure we do, and I've always found that. I'm one of the very fortunate people. I've met the present Holy Father many times over the last 27 years, and the night he was elected, when there was a lot of negativity, on one interview, it wasn't you, I assure you, on one of the interviews I got this in my ear that they've elected a rigid, hardline enforcer as Pope, and I just looked at the camera and said, that's not the man I know.
So who is the man you know?
The man I know is the man we've seen in the last few days. Warm, gentle, courteous, and such wonderful little symbols. I mean, for example, the opening speech, and again today at the park, Crofton Park, a German stood before us, and the first thanked England for its role in getting rid of the horror which was the Nazi story. Today, in our presence, spoke about the Battle of Britain. That's courtesy.
If there was one message that has come from the speeches, the homilies that he has given to the people of the UK, what is the one message that people should take from this visit?
I think I take it from his hymn, from Cardinal Newman's hymn, Praise to the Holiest, O loving wisdom of our God. A love which is wise, a wisdom that is loving.
Well, goodness me, it's been quite a visit, hasn't it, really?
I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as we
Well,
have.
it has been some really extraordinary scenes. We've been asking everybody what their highlight is this afternoon. What would your highlight be?
Oh, very difficult. I think the moment when, at the very beginning, as the national anthem was played, took off his white hat. And there was an affirmation of our story, which I thought, now that is beautiful. Standing next to the Queen. I'm afraid, again, I filled up, as I've done many times. That was one of them.
You're emotional, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
about this?
Yes, very, very, yes.
What do you think this has done with the relationship with the British government and also the relationship with the Anglican faith as well?
Again, I would have felt that feeling Westminster Hall was, there was a sense of thank you for indicating how deep our wisdom needs to be, that simply to have expediency as a basis for any policy is going to take us nowhere. We need to think through what are the values which we're seeking to sustain. That's one. And the warmth of the applause said, thank you. They felt it as a gift. The second one, again, one of the great moments for me, an emotional moment, was in the Abbey. With the Holy Father and Archbishop Williams, whom again I've known for many years. There was a depth and warmth to that occasion. No pretending there aren't huge difficulties, but the warmth was manifest for anybody to see, and that can only encourage us.
And in a sense, the message that the British public might take from this is please don't put religion in a box, don't shut it in a room, have it out in the open and enjoy it. Is that kind of what it should be?
The enjoyment. I mean, I've seen faces, and today when people have been for hours in the park waiting for Mass, everyone was a smiling face, and I thought, this is marvellous. It's been like a great family party.